You know, if you're invested in the AI space right now, this quote probably hits pretty close to home. It really feels like the mood is shifting, doesn't it? All that early excitement is starting to get replaced with some serious skepticism, even anger. And those feelings, they're not wrong. But what if all this backlash isn't the end of the line? What if it's actually the beginning of something much, much smarter?
So let's get into it. Today, we're not just going to rehash the same old talk about the AI bubble. We're going to give you a real strategic guide for how to think through it and maybe even take advantage of it. This is all about learning to spot the incredible opportunities that everyone else misses when they start to panic. So here's our game plan. We're going to break this all down using a really powerful model: thesis, antithesis, and synthesis. First, we'll look at the thesis. That's the current AI hype bubble. Then the antithesis, the big market correction that's causing all the fear. We'll pick apart why things failed, and then the most important part, the synthesis. This is the real, lasting opportunity that's born from all this chaos, and it leads us to a powerful idea called agentic workflows.
All right, let's kick things off with part one, the AI thesis bubble, or as we can think of it, the big myth that's been driving everything lately.
So, what exactly is this thesis? Well, it's the mindset that has completely dominated AI for the past few years. It's this belief that more is always better. More data, more compute, more speed. That's progress, right? The problem is, when that becomes the only thing anyone cares about, you get a ton of smart people all chasing the exact same, pretty flawed idea. And this is what that culture looks like in the real world. You've seen it, right? It's a culture of wrappers, everyone just slapping a new logo on the same underlying tech. Valuations are just out of control. And every demo day starts to feel like you're watching the same movie over and over again. I mean, seriously, how many nearly identical AI coding assistants do we really need? Now, here's where the rubber really meets the road. We have cold, hard data showing this thesis is breaking down. A recent, huge Google update was basically a bombshell dropped right on this whole philosophy. And look at these numbers. Unedited, mass-produced AI content, boom, wiped out. Up to 95% of its traffic, just gone. Even stuff that had a human editing it took a big hit. The market itself is screaming that it's sick of low-value, generic.
Which, of course, leads us straight into part two, the inevitable antithesis. This isn't some random market dip. No, this is the bill for the thesis finally coming due.
And this is a really crucial point. The antithesis isn't just a bunch of people hating on AI for no reason. It's a necessary correction. Think of it like the market's immune system finally waking up and fighting off an infection of low-quality copies and all these broken promises. It had to happen.
And wow, was this correction messy. The market volatility score hit an 8.7 out of 10. To put that in perspective, that is the highest we've seen this year. This wasn't a small tremor. It was a full-blown earthquake. And we can see exactly where that earthquake hit the hardest. The industries that went all in on that scale and speed at all costs model. We're talking affiliate sites, generic health content, e-commerce. They got absolutely leveled. 71% of affiliate sites took a major hit. Why? Because they were the poster children for this whole low-value approach. And make no mistake, this goes way beyond just a few content farms. The risk was becoming systemic. I mean, this quote from JP Morgan's CTO says it all. You had this innovate or die frenzy where huge companies were rushing to deploy AI systems that, frankly, they didn't really understand. That's the arrogance of the thesis, and it created a ton of hidden risk that nobody was talking about. Okay, so let's dig a little deeper. Let's look at the anatomy of this failure. Because the market wasn't just punishing things randomly. It was sending some very, very clear signals about what doesn't work anymore. Just look at this comparison for health content. It's literally night and day. What worked? Stuff written by actual licensed doctors with real citations. What failed? The generic AI symptom checkers and blogs from influencers. The numbers are staggering. Hospital blogs saw traffic jump 56%, while the generic stuff just collapsed, down 84%. The message could not be clearer. Expertise matters. Period. And it's the exact same story with affiliate websites. That old model of just scraping product descriptions and other people's reviews without ever actually touching the product, it's over, it's dead. Sites that were built that way got crushed, losing up to 88% of their traffic. The market is now demanding proof. Proof you've tested it, proof you've used it, proof you actually know what you're talking about. Okay, So we've seen the hype, we've seen the crash, and now we get to the good part, the synthesis opportunity. This is where we flip the script from fear to a real actionable strategy. It's all about finding a deeper fit for AI, not just chasing empty performance metrics. So what is this synthesis? It's actually pretty simple. You take all the ambition and raw power of that early AI boom, but you combine it with the painful lessons we just learned from the crash, and the result is a totally new kind of AI. One that's trustworthy, specialized, and built to work with, not against, real human expertise. This is the version of AI that's actually built to last.
So what does a winning investment look like in this new world? This is a perfect example. Niche websites run by actual recognized experts didn't just survive the correction, they absolutely thrived. This photographer's gear reviews site, packed with original photos and real lab testing, saw its traffic jump 91%, while its generic competitors were getting wiped off the map. This is the model. AI supports the expert, it doesn't replace them.
And all of this leads us to the core of this whole analysis, to a concrete investment thesis we can actually use. We're talking about investing in something called agentic workflows. The big idea here is a complete shift in thinking. The most valuable AI of the next decade won't be the stuff that replaces humans. No way. It will be the AI that acts as an indispensable engine for experts, giving them superpowers and letting them do things that were physically impossible before. It's about augmentation, not just automation. And here's exactly how that works. An expert, let's say a financial analyst, identifies a problem. The AI acts as a co-pilot to build an interactive tool, maybe a complex calculator. It does the heavy lifting. But then, and this is the most critical part, the human expert steps back in. They validate everything. They interpret the results. They add the crucial context, the warnings, the what this actually means for you. The final product isn't AI-generated. It's expert-led and AI-powered. That is where you're going to find durable, long-term value. So it all comes down to this one question for you as an investor. When you're navigating all this turbulence, which promise are you going to bet on? The promise of infinite, cheap, generic content in a race to the bottom? Or the promise of combining this world-changing technology with irreplaceable human expertise? I think when the pressure's really on, the answer is pretty obvious. The future isn't about replacing our best minds. It's about building the tools that will finally unleash them.